Let's take a look at the new polling showing Republican gaining support from Latino voters. According to the latest survey from NBC News and Telemundo, 54% of Latinos prefer Democrats in control of Congress. 33% say they prefer Republicans, while support for Democrats hasn't changed since a 2020 poll. Republicans have gained 5% in the same span. On the issues, Latino voters overwhelmingly say they prefer Democrats when it comes to abortion rights and protecting democracy.
Yeah, so this is on abortion. That is quite a surprise, because the argument had been post-Dobbs that Republicans would gain Hispanics because they're Catholic, religious, for general. Again, what Democrats have been doing with Hispanics for decades, overgeneralizing, Republicans are now doing. So, again, over 2-to-1 margin, Democrats supporting Hispanics supporting Democrats' position on abortion.
Republicans are favored slightly when it comes to dealing with the economy, border security, and crime.
Okay, can I just really quickly, though, here? I'm sorry, Jonathan Lemire, I must say, can we put up that first chart, Jonathan? I keep hearing, and I must say, we teased it, so I guess we're responsible too. I keep hearing about this massive swing toward Hispanics, right? But what are we comparing that to? It appears we're comparing the massive swing to Mitt Romney in 2012, who got 28% of the Hispanic vote. McCain got like 33% of the Hispanic vote in 2008. George W. Bush in 2004 got like 44% of the Hispanic vote. So this isn't quite the sea change that we keep hearing. I will say, and you heard it, we heard it on the campaign trail, there's been a real concern among Democrats about the loss of support among Hispanic men, among black men, especially when Donald Trump's involved. The question is, though, what happens in elections where Donald Trump's not on the ballot?
Right. What we're seeing here is that obviously Latino support for Republicans plummeted there after Bush left office and then stayed down for 2016 for Trump. And it's a phenomenon that has puzzled and worried Democrats about how certainly in 2020 he saw an increase in support from, particularly, as you say, Latino men. Hispanics, of course, not a monolithic voting group. There are different reasons why certain communities would vote for Trump, and Trump successfully played on fears of socialism that resonated with Venezuelans, Cubans, and a few other groups in 2020, and along with a rise in the support from some black men as well. But it's not an overwhelming number. But as we just detailed, Joe, these margins are so close. The House and the Senate are going to be decided by a handful of seats. These elections are going to be decided by very small numbers. Even a slight shift from Latino voters for Republicans is consequential. And that's why, though not an overwhelming number, it's worth spending the time on. It's a trend that both parties are focused on.
So let's take a look at this, deeper look with Telemundo anchor Julio Vaquero. Julio, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm curious, first of all, if you could talk a little bit about the shifting opinions on abortion in the Latino community, potentially, especially among women. What exactly is going on?
Yes, Mika, thank you very much for having me. So I would like to start by saying just what you were mentioning just a few minutes ago. Latinos are a very diverse community. So when you see some voters identifying with the Democratic position on abortion and some of them who are not, it all depends on where they are located, where they live, what religion they are. So more Catholics agree with Democrats when it comes to the abortion issue, and more Catholic Latinos are against the Dobbs decision in the Supreme Court than evangelical Latinos. So I think it's a misconception that Catholics might be more conservative because at the end, Catholicism, when it comes to the Latino community, it's more to do with identity and how you were raised when you were young. And then once you get to the United States, you might see other values that are also important, such as economic opportunity or individualism. And then I think those elements kind of explain how Latinos might have different perceptions when it comes to abortion.
Julio, I grew up in New York, And we knew the difference in the black community going to school between those Latinos from Puerto Rico and those that are Latinos from Venezuela or from Mexico. And I think that a lot of the pollsters and pundits don't understand that there is not a monolith in terms of the Latino vote. A lot of it is geographic, as you said, geopolitical, but also generational, because a lot of the younger Latinos who've been more exposed to American life, many of them born here, think differently than their parents and grandparents. How will that factor in the midterm elections in terms of their voting patterns?
To start with, many Latinos might identify themselves first as American and then as Latinos, and they might feel not that much solidarity with the Latino community because, as you said, Reverend, they are second or third generation. So that's important. And also, it's important to know that the Latino voter in general, the bloc, is younger than the general electorate. So that's, I think, something that benefits Democrats. There are more Latino voters between 18 to 34 years old, and they have a more progressive point of view. I think that's something also to consider.
Telemundo anchor Julio Vaquero, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Great having you with us.
It's good to have you.
Come back.